Somewhere online right now, someone is telling you that Iraq just banned 10 million dinar notes. They're saying it's urgent. They're saying banks are already rejecting them. They're saying if you don't act today, your money could become worthless overnight. But here's the question nobody seems to be asking. Is any of that actually true? We spent time digging through official sources, financial data, and news archives to find out. What we found wasn't a simple yes or no. It was something more interesting, a pattern that's been repeating for years, wrapped around a currency that millions of people around the world have quietly invested in. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly where this claim came from, what Iraq's central bank has actually said, and why stories like this keep spreading no matter how many times they're proven wrong. This isn't about telling you what to believe. It's about giving you the tools to check for yourself. Let's start at the beginning. To understand this story, you need to understand something called the Iraqi Dinar. After the Gulf War, Iraq's currency lost most of its value. For decades since, a community of investors, mostly outside Iraq, has bought large amounts of Iraqi dinars, betting that one day the currency will revalue, meaning its worth against the US dollar will suddenly jump. This idea is often called the dinar RV, short for revaluation. It's a real phenomenon. Thousands of people have purchased dinars hoping for large returns. And around this hope, a whole online ecosystem has formed. Websites, forums, and video channels dedicated to dinar news and predictions. The claim we're examining today fits into that same world. The idea circulating is that Iraq will cancel or restrict dinar notes above a certain amount. Some versions say 10 million, others mention different figures. We trace this style of claim back to opinion pieces published on dinar-focused financial news sites, written by outside contributors and explicitly labeled as personal theories, not confirmed government policy. One such piece speculated about Iraq potentially canceling notes tied to purchases over 100 million dinars, a specific number, but one presented as the author's own prediction, not an announced policy. We did not find this 10 million dinar ban version confirmed anywhere by Iraq's central bank or by mainstream financial reporting. That distinction matters. A theory published as a guest opinion is not the same as a policy confirmed by an institution. So what has Iraq's central bank actually done recently? That's where things get more concrete. Sources referenced in this chapter: Iraq Business News, guest contributor commentary on dinar revaluation speculation published under its opinions of the author disclaimer policy. Let's separate fact from rumor. Here is what is verifiable. Iraq's central bank has been carrying out real banking reforms. Iraqi banks have been working to meet compliance standards tied to correspondent banking relationships with U.S. financial institutions. And the CBI has published lists restricting a number of Iraqi banks from certain U.S. dollar transactions as part of anti-money laundering and financial transparency efforts. There has also been real reporting on the total amount of currency in circulation in Iraq, over 113 trillion dinars as of mid-2026, according to central bank data cited by Shafaq News, with a large majority of that cash held outside the banking system rather than inside it. None of that is the same thing as a ban on 10 million dinar notes held by individuals. Currency reforms like this typically work through official channels. A central bank publishes a directive, sets a timeline, and works with licensed banks to implement it. If Iraq were to restrict large denomination holdings, the announcement would come from the Central Bank of Iraq itself, published through official statements or the Iraqi news agency, not first appearing on a dinar investment forum. This is an important pattern to notice in general, not just here. Legitimate monetary policy is usually slow and procedural. It's announced through official statements, not urgent warnings on social media. When a claim about a national currency spreads primarily through investment forums and video channels before showing up on any government or major financial news source, that's a signal to slow down and verify, Not proof it's false, but a reason to check. So let's look at whether the evidence actually holds up. Sources referenced in this chapter: Iraq Business News reporting on CBI bank restrictions, Shafaq News reporting on Central Bank of Iraq currency and circulation data, May 2026 figures. Here's what we cannot find, despite looking. We could not find an official statement from the Central Bank of Iraq announcing a ban on 10 million dinar notes or holdings. We cannot find mainstream financial outlets reporting this as confirmed policy. We did find that the Central Bank of Iraq has, on multiple occasions, publicly denied rumors of dramatic currency changes. In one recent case, in June 2026, the CBI issued a categorical denial after a forged official letter circulated claiming the government was pushing to change the exchange rate to 1,600 dinars per dollar. The bank confirmed the letter was fake and warned media outlets and the public against spreading it. This tells us something important. Iraq Central Bank does respond publicly, quickly, and specifically when a real rumor about the currency spreads. So far, no comparable public denial or confirmation exists for the 10 million dinar ban claim, which itself is notable since it suggests this particular version hasn't reached the scale of the forged letter incident, at least not yet. This is worth sitting with for a moment. In the dinar investment community, big predictions have circulated for years. Currency revaluations happening any day now, secret international agreements, imminent bank announcements. Most of these predictions have not occurred on the timelines originally claimed. That doesn't automatically mean every new claim is false, but it does mean the burden of proof is high. And so far, that proof hasn't appeared from a verifiable, official source. Sources referenced in this chapter: IraqiNews.com, CBI denies rumors of changing exchange rate to 1,600 dinar, June 17, 2026. Let's talk about why claims like this spread so fast, without pointing fingers at any specific person or channel. Urgency drives attention. A headline that says this could happen eventually gets far fewer views than one that says this is happening now. Act immediately. In the world of dinar speculation specifically, there's a financial incentive built into parts of the ecosystem. Some websites and channels that produce dinar-related content also sell dinar currency directly or generate revenue from ad views, subscriptions, or affiliate arrangements tied to currency exchange services. This creates a pattern worth understanding. Content that keeps an audience emotionally engaged, hopeful, anxious, or afraid of missing out tends to keep that audience coming back. More views can mean more ad revenue. More urgency can mean more currency sales or referral income. This isn't proof that any individual creator is acting in bad faith. Many people in this space genuinely believe what they're sharing. But the incentive structure itself rewards dramatic claims over cautious, verified ones, regardless of intent. That's a pattern seen across many online financial communities, not just this one. Cryptocurrency speculation, penny stock promotion, and various insider secret investment claims all follow a similar shape. Urgency plus scarcity plus a call to act now. Understanding that pattern doesn't mean every claim is manipulation. It means every claim deserves the same simple test. Where's the primary source? Let's look at what real institutions have actually said about this kind of scheme. The Central Bank of Iraq has directly addressed currency fraud in the past. In February 2026, the CBI issued a public statement warning citizens about fraudulent schemes involving counterfeit and non-circulating banknotes. One method the CBI specifically named, so-called 1 million banknotes being sold as if they were legal tender, when they're actually commemorative novelty notes with no real monetary value. Separately, in the United States, state-level financial regulators have issued consumer warnings about Iraqi Dinar investment schemes. Washington State's Department of Financial Institutions, for example, has published a public alert cautioning that dinars can typically only be redeemed inside Iraq, that most established banks and exchange houses outside Iraq will not convert them, and that this lack of a real exchange market allows some dealers to charge inflated, unregulated prices. On the enforcement side, Iraq's Supreme Judicial Council has confirmed real financial fraud cases connected to currency exchange manipulation. In one case reported through Iraq Business News, the Second Kark Investigative Court recovered roughly 30 billion Iraqi dinars, around 23 million US dollars, from a company found to have violated the law by exploiting foreign currency exchange rate differences. These are documented, named, verifiable actions from real institutions. What we still cannot verify from any of these same institutions is the specific 10 million dinar ban claim itself. If you ever see a specific claim like this, the fastest way to check it is simple. Go directly to the Central Bank of Iraq's official statements or to an established financial news outlet and see if they're reporting the same thing. Sources referenced in this chapter: Iraq Business News, CBI warns of currency-related fraud schemes, February 23, 2026. Washington State Department of Financial Institutions, DFI alert, Iraqi Dinar scams. Iraq Business News reporting on Supreme Judicial Council fraud recovery case. It's easy to talk about currency speculation in the abstract. It's harder to talk about what it actually costs people. Dinar investing has, for many, meant putting aside real savings in hopes of a large return. When predicted revaluation dates pass without anything happening, that hope doesn't just fade quietly. For some, it means real financial strain, stress, and disappointment. Public, first-hand accounts exist describing this pattern. In one widely shared account from a U.S. bank employee, posted publicly online, the writer described customers, often older adults, regularly coming in to try to exchange large amounts of Iraqi dinars, and described their bank instructing staff not to facilitate these exchanges at all, only to explain to customers why the currency isn't accepted. We're not citing this as a formal case study or verified statistic. It's a single, public, first-hand account, and we're presenting it as exactly that. But the broader pattern it describes is consistent with what regulators like Washington State's DFI have separately warned about. Real people, often putting in real savings based on predictions that have not materialized. This is why claims like 10 million dinar ban matter beyond just being right or wrong. If someone believes this claim and panics, selling currency at a loss, paying unnecessary exchange fees, or falling for a related scam, the damage is real, even if the original claim turns out to be false. That's the human cost of unverified urgency. And it's exactly why slowing down to check sources isn't just good practice, it's protective. If you want to understand what's really happening with Iraq's currency, here's a simple, practical approach. First, go to the source. The Central Bank of Iraq publishes its own announcements and policy statements, often distributed through the Iraqi news agency. That's the primary source, not a forum, not a video, not a blog post repeating a forum. Second, check established financial news outlets that cover Iraq's economy as part of their regular reporting, rather than sites built specifically around currency speculation. Third, treat any claim involving urgency. Act now, before it's too late. Banks are already doing this, as a signal to verify twice, not act once. Fourth, remember that legitimate monetary policy changes are usually slow, technical, and procedural. They come with official documentation, not dramatic countdowns. And finally, if you're making financial decisions based on currency speculation of any kind, consider speaking with a licensed, independent financial professional, someone with no financial stake in whether you buy, sell, or hold a particular currency. No outcome in currency speculation can be guaranteed, and any claims suggesting otherwise should be treated with caution. None of this requires distrust of everyone in this space. It just requires the same habit good researchers use everywhere. Check the primary source before you act. Let's bring this all together. So, did Iraq just ban 10 million dinar notes? Based on everything we could verify, there is no confirmed announcement from the Central Bank of Iraq supporting that specific claim. What we did find were real, ongoing banking reforms, real restrictions on certain banks' dollar transactions, a real history of the CBI publicly debunking currency rumors, and real fraud cases pursued through Iraq's courts. That doesn't mean nothing is happening in Iraq's financial system. Plenty is. It means this particular claim, as stated, isn't backed by verifiable evidence right now. If new, credible information changes that, it will come from an official source first, not a headline built to grab your attention. If this video helped you think through a claim like this more clearly, consider subscribing. We break down financial claims like this regularly, always going back to primary sources instead of speculation. And if you've seen other claims about Iraq's currency you want us to look into, leave them in the comments. We'll dig into the next one the same way we dug into this one. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.